Hey everybody, Bandicoot Commando here, and welcome back to Resistance. Last time, we beat the game. We finished the tower here. Just to summarize what happened in that tower, and then that Chimera tower. Hale and Saber Squad, I believe, but I think that's just what they're referred to as. They found a power source in the tower, the core, I guess you can call it, and they were able to destroy the reactor rods within the power source, and the tower blew up and was destroyed. This not only, I believe, killed the angel chimeras within that tower, but the tower also acted as a bit of a catalyst, because all the other tower conduits throughout England, throughout Britain, were destroyed as well. And with the angel chimeras dead, all other chimera died as well. Parker also explained how, as they were searching for and found survivors, and trying to reverse engineer the various chimera technology, Parker explains how, although Nathan Hale wasn't found, since it was believed he perished in the explosion, and because his file is listed as KIA, she at least believes he did survive, and turns out she was right. Because outside in the country of London, Hale is found by a mysterious Black Ops group, and he takes a moment to contemplate pulling the pin on his grenade, but decides not to, and the Black Ops take him away for whatever reason. Reasons that we will understand at another time. So today, I am going to go over a lot of stuff in the game. The New Game Plus weapons, which, yeah, the only weapons you can get on a new game, and the game's development, the skill points, and a bunch of other stuff. So why don't we start with the weapons? We'll put it on easy just because. I hope I have my weapons. Otherwise, I might have fucked it. Well, if it's auto-saving like that, that's already making me worry that I might have messed it up and it was all for nothing. So, only when you start any subsequent playthroughs, you will be able to find brand new weapons on these playthroughs. I'm not too sure if I'll be able to pull them out on this level, though, or if I have to pick them up again.
Sir, your squad, go now! You're with me, let's go!
Let me hope that I didn't mess it up. I messed it up. I messed it up. Way to go, me. Way to go, me. That's just all I can say is way to go, me. I did all that work, and now it was all for nothing. Well, there's probably still a way to fix it. I'll be back. Okay, people, I'm back, and I saved it. I was able to save it. Save it as in, we're still good. So, when you play through each of the levels, like I said, on New Game Plus, you'll have some new weapons that you can only find on subsequent playthroughs. The first of them you'll find are the Reapers. The next one you'll find is the Arc Charger. And then later, you'll be able to find the L-11-2 Dragon and the Splitter. And also, you will find Backlash Grenades. So let me go over these weapons. And, yeah. Also, the Bullseye Mark II, as always, you'll only find it on the final level in the tower, but since I've already showed it off, there's no point to getting it. So, the Reaper. The Reaper's here, and because I have the intel as well, see, Bullseye, Auger, Reapers. The Chimeran Reaper carbine is designed for the hit-and-run attacks of the Slipskull skirmishers. Its lightweight and collapsing frame keeps the creature's hands free until the weapons are needed. The Slipskull's independently focusing eyes give it the distinct advantage of wielding 2 Reapers at once. Hold the reticle over an enemy to engage target acquisition. Once the reticle is red, shots fired by holding R1 or L1 will track the enemy anywhere in the field of view. Each Reaper can track a separate enemy. Let me see. And the melee is just, yeah. So if I can demonstrate it as best as possible. Oh no, no you don't. Here comes the Stalker. Oh man, you guys got onto it. Come on, let me demonstrate. It's a quick, short burst of fire, so I don't even care if I die to the Stalker or in general, because I'm just trying to demonstrate weapons. But the Reaper carbines, they're okay. Like, you could shoot either one or both at once. Ammo is hard to find for them, though. Or you could shoot with one hand or the other. Next is the Backlash Grenades that you will pick up. These are probably going to be your best friends. The Backlash Grenade has only recently been seen on the battlefield. It is an extremely rare munition believed to be of human construction, although the origin of its technology is unknown. When used, the grenade projects a spherical shield which will damage any Chimeran creature caught within it. The shield also reflects most Chimeran weapons fire, effectively turning a Chimera creature's own weapon against it. Case in point.
Lieutenant Cartwright, status. Task 5 reporting. We're nearly in position. Roger.
This force field will protect, and as you can see, it will do more than just protect you. Any shots fired by Chimera, it will be reflected right back at them. It won't work on everything, though. There will be some exceptions. It also works on augers as well. It will also work on steelhead auger shots. The auger shots will not be deflected. The auger shots will not penetrate the force field. Though you want to be careful with that one, because even though the shots won't be reflected, or sorry, I keep saying that, but they will be reflected. I mean, as in, the shots will... There we go. Yeah, how does it feel? How does it feel, Stalker, huh? I mean, it was going to wear off, but still. How does it feel to have your own shots reflected against you? Overall, Backlash Grenade, very handy, very useful. You just gotta be careful because of the rarity of the grenades. Not to mention that when you're reflecting auger shots from steelheads, the auger shots will still keep phasing through various ground and whatever, and I think you can still take damage from it. Next is the Arc Charger. Where are you? Here it is. The Arc Charger fires a blast of energy which briefly clings to organic tissue. Additional blasts increase the intensity of the energy. Pressing L1 triggers the energy to arc to nearby targets. Upon striking additional targets, pressing L1 will arc the energy again. The energy's power increases with each successful arc, as does its ability to strike new targets. With the proper timing, many targets may be attacked at once. The arc charger is particularly devastating against multiple enemies, where it can develop maximum intensity. The arc charger's okay, but like, it's kind of, they weirdly describe it though. But as you can see, the Chimera remain electrified. It's decent to an extent, but there's not a lot of energy capsules defined for it, and not to mention, you gotta get really close to use it. But it works well against menial chimeras and leapers and rollers. Next up, we have the dragon, the L11-2 dragon. The L11-2 dragon is an excellent weapon for attacking dug-in chimeran positions. Its short range is overcome by its ability to damage numerous targets simultaneously with a single sweep. Pressing R1 releases an atomized chemical agent which is catalyzed to produce a jet of caustic vapor. Holding L1 develops a cloud of uncatalyzed vapor. Releasing L1 will catalyze and launch the cloud. This is useful for area denial, as the cloud remains deadly until its chemical reaction is completely exhausted. The dragon is essentially a flamethrower. I can't really use it on the stalker because it's a stalker, but nonetheless, it's just a flamethrower. See, it's a flamethrower. And yeah, the secondary fire will shoot a vapor cloud, and it will set Chimera on fire. Overall, very good weapon to keep Chimera busy, but again, similar to real flamethrowers, not the best of range. And lastly, the splitter. Oh, I should probably read the description of these. Press R1 to fire a charge and electrify an enemy. Press L1 to target electrified enemies. And then the dragon. Hold R1 to deliver a continuous stream of caustic vapor. Hold and release L1 to launch a vapor cloud. And now the splitter. The splitter can be a bit of a weird weapon to understand. The splitter is an advanced chimeran weapon. Its potential for collateral damage makes it uncommon outside the most hotly contested battlefronts of the chimeran invasion. Pressing R1 fires a packet of high-velocity explosive rounds. Pressing L1 will split the rounds multiple times. Holding L1 increases the distance between the split rounds. This can potentially create a literal wall of gunfire to cut down whole squads of opposition. It even says so right here. To demonstrate it best, hold R1 to keep it in front of you. The more I split it, the bigger it becomes, and this is the maximum it can get. The wall of bullets, as I'll call it, it won't protect you, obviously, but once you find something to release it on, there you go. It's very powerful. So overall, These weapons that you get on a New Game Plus playthrough makes me wonder why they couldn't have been added in the main campaign in the first place. And not be like a second playthrough exclusive kind of weapon. But yeah, those are all the weapons I wanted to go over. Yeah, kill me, it doesn't matter. I don't care how many times Nathan Hale dies, it doesn't matter. I'm at a point where I don't have to beat the game again. Now, the next thing I want to talk about... hold on. Chimera... Vehicles... Intelligence... Extras. The skill points and the rewards you will get from skill points. I obviously don't have all the skill points. I don't intend to get them all. But I will tell you, though, how to get most of them. Especially the ones I've unlocked and so on and so forth. Alright, so before... Yeah. So these skill points that you get in general, these skill points can be obtained in any level, at any time. Well, actually, some of them are easier to get on a subsequent playthrough because of the exclusive weapons and whatnot. But yeah, general, it just means you can earn them in any level. What's funny is that the Too Many Secret ones and the Mechanical Thumbs one are the only ones worth the most. Because every other skill point is worth anywhere from, at maximum, 1 to 4 points. So, for these first 3, you just have to pick up the intel docs. So, as it says here, just pick up 10 intel, 20, and then Too Many Secrets is when you get all of them. And for a penny, you kill 3 hybrids with a single grenade. For fetch, kill a howler with a grenade. It's actually kind of difficult. Acupuncture is cheaper. Kill 3 enemies or more with a hedgehog grenade. Why are these candles screaming? Kill 8 hybrids with fire in 30 seconds. Air fuel grenades are very good for that one. The dragon can also be helpful with that one as well. Lovely parting gifts. This is where I should actually pull up the... had to check Discord for a sec. This is where I'm going to have to pull up my list here. Lovely parting gifts. You have to squat over 15 dead hybrids, as in you gotta like teabag them. I've tried doing this, but it's hybrids though. It has to be dead hybrids. Okay, so that's why I couldn't get it, because I was doing it to other Chimera variants as well. Tag, you're it. Kill 5 enemies with the bullseye in 30 seconds. Gasping for air. Kill 2 hybrids in a level only after severing all their hoses. I didn't know I got this one. But yeah, kill 2 hybrids in any level when you sever all the hoses on their cooling packs. The best way to do that one, use your rifle, slow down time, and as time is slowed down, just try to shoot both hoses with 1 bullet each, and once the hoses have been severed, kill the hybrid. Or alternatively, there are some weapons that are powerful enough for you to sever not only all 4 hoses at once, but more importantly, it'll end up killing the hybrids. Nowhere to hide. Kill 5 enemies in a level by shooting them through a wall with the auger. Twirly whirly. Kill 5 menials with a bullseye trap. I should probably demonstrate the bullseye trap now that I kind of figured it out. Hold L1. Put as many bullets as you can, and then when you find a new... And yeah, that's how the bullseye trap works. I don't know why I was able to get it to work from before, or last time. Okay, so turrets. Use the Chimera Sentry Gun to kill 6 enemies. There's lots of levels that present that opportunity. The best one apparently is Somerset. Mechanical Thumbs, that is beating the game on the hard difficulty. So good luck with that. And then the rest of the skill points are level specific only. So this one, kill 3 leapers with a frag grenade. Tag 4 hybrids with the bullseye. Run over 10 enemies with the tank. Grimsby, don't worry, insurance has it covered. I should probably get to my list here. You need to destroy 5 or more of the black boxes in the level. I'm not sure what it entails by black boxes. I kept finding boxes of different kinds, but they didn't seem black to me, so I don't know what it was. It just wouldn't work. 20th century, do not get hit by a laser mine. I almost got this one, but one of the last laser mines kind of blindsided me. This one, personal space bubble. Don't let a menial grab you in the conversion center. I'm not actually sure how I got this one, because I actually did get grabbed at one point, so I'm guessing what might have happened. Actually, no, it didn't grab. It lunged for me, but it actually didn't grab me because I killed it in time. Lightfoot, take no damage from the mines. Just take cover as best as you can. This is my rifle. This is my gun. This is my boomstick. As it says, defeat the stalker with only the carbine. That's also why I like using the carbine, because it's my boomstick. Nottingham, just get 5 headshot kills with the far eye. I got almost all of them in Cheshire. Passive-aggressive, kill 4 hybrids or minials with non-weapon damage. There are explosive barrels that you can use that take care of that. We lost the security deposit anyway. There are some medical lamps you can destroy, so just break 10 of them. Mirror, mirror, destroy all glass objects. There are glass objects of different kinds in the level. Destroy all of them. Next speed trap. Complete Somerset within 7 minutes and 45 seconds. I don't know if it entails just the driving section or the whole level itself, all of Somerset. I'm going to assume it's the whole driving section because I feel there's no way you could do that whole thing in 7 minutes. Specifically 7 minutes and 45 seconds. I could see my house. Basically, jump at least 50 meters in the links in the Cheddar Gorge. I tried getting this one, but I couldn't really get it to work. Misplaced aggression, I thought I could have got this one. Basically, destroy all the cars in the town section. I blew up various cars, and there was a truck, but I couldn't get the truck to blow up. I guess you just have to get all vehicles to blow up no matter what. They came from behind. With the links, just reverse and run over 3 hybrids. The problem with that one, though, is that Cartwright will still be gunning at them. So if you're doing this on co-op, you can still get skill points in co-op. So if you're doing this in co-op, you can have player 2 in the turret, but not shoot at them, and you'll be like, okay, let me run them over. I believe this is yours. Use only Chimeran weapons. One-eyed dog. Kill a howler with the far eye. That one can be pretty tough. Just simply keep headshotting it. A new kind of sourdough. Kill every enemy in the cafeteria of Settler Command with the sapper. And that one's kind of easy because there's only like 3 enemies. There's only 2 hybrids and a hard fang, so that's easy. Pint in one hand, darts in the other. In the cafeteria, just shoot the bullseye of the dartboards with the far eye. Oh yeah, Karma's a bitch, alright. This one's actually pretty difficult, but to get it, because you're in the Chimeran Tunnel, you have to kill the enemies with only their native weapons. Meaning that for the hybrids, use the bullseye. For the steelheads, the auger. And you have to use your backlash grenades for everything else, apparently. So, manage your grenades carefully with that one. This one I earned unintentionally, to be honest, but during that segment where the lifts, the Chimera are coming up on the lifts, basically, yeah, don't let any Chimera stand on the platform for more than 10 seconds. If you just know how to gun them down with your bullseye, it's easy. We're almost there. Let's see. Take no damage from the rollers in the outskirts of London. Unfortunately, they got to me. And this one, take no damage from the slip skulls. But that one, again, couldn't get that one. I could have swore I would have gotten this one. Basically, you got to finish the battlefields and rooftops within 5 minutes. It is kind of difficult, though, especially with the Widowmaker and the Stalkers. Breaking the law, destroy the reactor without using the Lark. It's actually pretty easy. This one is pretty difficult. Do not use your second... Wait, hold on. Yeah, reach the reactor room without either using grenades or your weapon's secondary fire. Good luck. What would Hale do? Basically, kill an Angel Chimera with the shotgun. And lastly, return to sender. Anytime the Angels try to throw stuff at you, as in when they rip like metal or whatever to chuck at you, destroy 5 objects. And yeah, that's it with the skill points. The rewards you get are here. I'll go over the concept art in a bit. So yeah, 10 to 20 points you get concept art pack 1 and 2. It's just those 2, there's no more. 40 of them gets you a behind the scenes of Resistance in the cinematics portion. I already saw it. Kind of interesting. 70 skill points, I believe, get, from what I've read on different various sources, 70 skill points will unlock Mirror World or Flip World. And it's exactly what it says. It's just everything is mirrored. 100 skill points gets you, I believe, the Clank backpacks. And that's exactly what it says. It's that any of your allies you encounter in the game, they will be wearing Clank on their back from Ratchet and Clank. Excuse me. And lastly, once you get all the skill points, this is referred to as the mechanic skin. I believe what it is that it's meant to be like similar to Clank here. The mechanic skin is meant to be similar to Ratchet from, you know, Ratchet and Clank, or at least partially similar to it. I think they carry Ami wrenches, but I'm not too sure, to be honest. There's one more thing you can unlock, and that is something I have to clarify on. There are 4 difficulties in the game: easy, medium, hard, and superhuman. To unlock superhuman, you have to beat the game on hard. Once you beat the game on superhuman, you will unlock a multiplayer skin, the Black Ops skin. But to unlock hard difficulty, you have to beat the game on normal, and you have to start a new game on hard. So, have fun with that. I think, yeah, that's just about everything I could talk about in regards to skill points and all. I mean, it's in Somac, and Somac was known for doing skill points since Spyro 2, and some of the later Resistance games still kept going with the skill point system. I don't remember when Insomniac finally dropped the skill point system all entirely, because I know there were no skill points in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and in the movie. And in the movie game. The movie game actually makes fun of that, to be honest. So, why don't we go over both the concept art and some of the development of the game? I'll dismiss it. So, this is interesting because each area, well, you'll see. So here is the airstrip. Well, I mean, yeah, the carrier, that's what I was looking for. The carrier zone at the beginning. In fact, what's interesting about the carrier zone at the beginning was that it was meant to have been a level on its own, and it was meant to act as a sort of a tutorial level, but in the end, it was just turned into a cutscene instead. York. More of York. Even more of York. Grimsby, the conversion center. Manchester. More of Manchester. I believe we're still in Manchester. Even more of Manchester. Northern Command. Northern Command. Different ideas. Yep, different ideas of Northern Command and the containment unit holding the Angel Chimera. Somerset. The Cheddar Gorge. I also learned from a friend why it's called the Cheddar Gorge, so thank you for teaching me that. Very funny. And the conduit tower that Hale and Cartwright would discover. Southern Command. Yep, Southern Command. The Chimera Tunnel. I might have skipped over with Nottingham. The mining platform. London. Oh, yes. London, but that was a fun segment. More of London. I'm going to assume the Thames. The outside of the tower. Not a very big Goliath. More of the Thames. And there we go, the inside of the Chimeran Tower with the cocoons, presumably holding angels. The tower. And there it is, the reactor. The reactor room. And we're back to the carrier. Pack 2, on the other hand, contains characters and whatnot. So, a crawler, carriers, leapers, leaper pods, minial chimera. I think there's, like, where it's squared off, there's text, but I can't read it because the text kind of cuts it off. The standard facial study of chimera, the 6 eyes and the teeth. A slip skull. A howler. A steelhead. Oh, that's a slip skull, so then, yeah, that's just your standard hybrid. So yeah, a slip skull. A gray jack. Wow. The intel was right. They practically have, like, tubes going in the body. Like, it's actually coursing through the body. A hard fang. Advanced hybrids. A Goliath. The Widowmaker. And an Angel Chimera. The tank. The Lynx, fun Jeep to drive. That is Cartwright. That is just an NPC doctor. I think some of these are actually multiplayer skins as well, so yeah, that's just a medic. A scientist. I can't really read the chalkboard stuff there. Another medic character. He must be French. He looks French. Parker. And Nathan Hale. Back to the crawler. And that's all the concept art the game has to offer, to be honest. So, on to... Well, I'd rather do this in a better place, but maybe some silence will work for the time until I can go back to the menu. So, next up would be the game's development. Really not much of it, to be honest. Which is sad, because it's been 10 so years. But at the time when the game was in development, the game's code name was I-8. The I stood for IP. And the 8 was because this was the 8th game that Insomniac would develop. Now, what's funny is that at the time that they were developing it, they also were briefly considering another old IP that they were working on. The game was first shown at the E3 of 2005. And a new demo was showed off later. Yeah, I'm looking at the development. It's just not like... It's not really giving me much on here. Like, I thought this game... I thought they had more detail about the game's development. I mean, the behind the scenes does a better job at it, really, but... Yeah, the game... I'm assuming the game first came to conception possibly around... I want to say 2003, 2004. Around that time, Insomniac knew that they probably weren't going to be developing Ratchet & Clank forever. How ironic, considering how everything would turn out for them with that. So they decided to work on a new IP. And that's when they decided to do something realistic with that IP, which brings us here to Resistance. To create what is more or less a science fiction, first-person shooter, horror kind of game. And, yeah, they just needed to do something with that, and they had the idea. So, the benefit of making the game was being on the PS3. Initially, though, the game was meant to be on the PS2. There is behind-the-scenes footage that shows it on the PS2. But they realized that, especially as they were working on it, that due to the PSware's hardware and specs, it would have worked a lot better than what they would have done on the PS2. Especially since, much like the PS1, the PS2 can only display so many things on screen at once, and because you fight quite a lot of Chimera in different ways and forms, the PS3 just had the right hardware to display multiple characters and objects on screen at once. So with that, it was the way to go. Now, there's really not much in terms of story development, but one of the earliest ideas of the story involves the Black Ops, which there's something important with the Black Ops that I will talk about as well. And that is, the original idea was that Hale would have accompanied the Black Ops and they would have done suicidal raids through cities and towns, but the story didn't really have a plot because of that, though. So, they would then scrap that story to make a proper one taken place in an alternate history of the 1950s. But what Insomniac did at least do was that anytime that new Chimeran creatures were being made, the Black Ops were pretty much used as test dummies for them. It's funny, because that's what a lot of the behind-the-scenes beta videos were for, is that it just shows Hale running with them as they get picked off by Chimera and stuff. I'm actually surprised that it didn't show me any of the concept art for the Black Ops. Right, so let me go to the locations. Because in the locations, there are actually some words that some of the developers had to say for some of the locations. So yeah, essentially, yeah, that was part of the development on where, with that. Let me see. Oh, you know, I should probably talk about the Chimera themselves real quick, so give me a sec. Where is... I need a quick... Well, that's an angel, but I'll take a shortcut just to get to the Chimera faster. Okay, the Chimera. So, the thing with the Chimera, though, was that when Insomniac was creating Resistance, originally, I think I briefly talked about it. But it's that initially, I also can show some early concept of the Chimera as well. Like, yeah, I could show early concept of the Chimera. But initially, the Chimera are actually an old idea that Insomniac had from a canceled game idea that they had. Around the time was that, especially after Spyro, after Spyro and before Ratchet and Clank, Insomniac had had a game idea simply just known Girl with a Stick. That was just a placeholder name. It was meant to have been their 5th game, because technically, if you go by, especially back in time with Insomniac before Spyro, the very first game Insomniac ever did was a science fiction first-person shooter called Disruptor. Good luck finding it these days. But in Girl with the Stick, it was, according to what they say, especially today, they say that it was more or less a fantasy sort of... a mix of fantasy and sci-fi to a degree. They described how the environments were pretty much Spyro feeling, but it also had some, like, what would be cases of resistance in it later. But yes, the Chimera are actually based on a race from Girl with the Stick, simply known as the Celestials. The Celestials are pretty much described as that their architecture and style would... Like, the whole story is that this woman with a pole stick of sorts with different magical abilities would go around trying to stop the Celestials, as it's called. So, after... let's see. I'm gonna assume most of the trivia involving the hybrids. Okay, not the advanced hybrids, but just your standard hybrids. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have anything to say anymore with the hybrids and Chimera and... Well, I mean, I did say how the hybrids will sometimes speak in distorted English, but I already talked about that. So, but yeah, overall, with the girl with the stick idea was that yeah, after Spyro, they tried that. Then it got to Ratchet and Clank, and funnily enough, when they were working on what would be Resistance, they briefly considered going back to Girl with the Stick, but in the end, they weren't exactly fond of the idea, and I think since then, especially today, Insomniac doesn't plan on ever doing Girl with the Stick again, because I'm just guessing that they just weren't big fans of the idea. So now that we got that done and out of the way, I need to go to the levels. I'm on York, but problem with York is that it gave me the actual location and not the level. Yeah, it's not giving me the campaign levels. Here we go. That's better. Yeah, there we go. That's better. York. Because like I said, there's trivia in regards to some of the developers talking about okay, maybe yeah, not in York. They don't have anything to say about York, but when Insomniac had their 20-year anniversary, I believe, of 20 years of making games in general, they talked about what they've done with Resistance and some of that other stuff. So in Grimsby at least. So here's the thing with Grimsby and other things. Let's start with one of the artists. So artist Marcus Lowell, who was speaking to fellow artist Eric Gooch, one of the challenges I faced when creating this level was presenting the player with a fish cannery that slowly becomes more chimeran as the player progresses. I really wanted the player to feel like they were going not only to a place that no other human had seen, but that they were going deeper and deeper into the heart of this very alien world where terrible and cruel acts were taking place. It was a delicate task of balancing the demolished human structures with the parasitic chimeran architecture. And likewise, in the hunted down part, Lowell then said, sometimes when you make levels, you have to start out with placeholders, and in this level, recreated an outhouse looking building just for that purpose. So as the player goes through what is supposed to be this scary and dark level that has been overrun and mangled with chimeran architecture, they come out to find this dumpy little outhouse that has been untouched by the chimerans right in the middle of their path. So the joke became that everything was destroyed except for the outhouses. Guess the chimerans aren't as dumb as they look. But one thing, though, that this level in the game was supposed to have was a grapple gun of some kind. I'm not sure if this grapple gun was meant to be either a weapon or just an object to use to grapple with. But the reason being is that there are many power cores that the menial chimeras can use. The grapple gun would have been used in regards to that. The grapple gun was removed very late in development because lead character designer Damon Lenzuni said it was it was removed late in development. Because when he was playing during a playthrough of his in 2016, I'm guessing he might have meant that in one of the demos or betas that the gun was still in there before it was removed. On to Manchester. What's their trivia with Manchester? Oh, no? No, but there's a particular controversy with the Manchester Cathedral, which I will get to later. Nottingham. Okay, this one I know they have talked about. Eric Gooch said this about this level. This is the level that made me cry the most. It was huge, and here were literally thousands of objects, and when the whole area was loaded, I got about 1 frame per second in the editor. I feel so sorry for you, Eric, having to go through that. Up in Cheshire, let's see, what did... Nobody's... Okay, yeah, nothing said about Chester here. Okay, so Somerset. Somerset's interesting because there is some trivia in regards to it. Okay, yeah. So the thing with Somerset was that all areas in the game have all levels have anywhere from 2 to 3 subsections. Somerset was originally going to have 4. Keep that in mind, 4, and it would have probably been the only place with 4 subsections. But basically, this fourth section in Somerset was that after Hale and Cartwright, it's basically when Hale and Cartwright leave the gorge after they discover the tower. The idea was that it was a rail shooter where Cartwright was driving and Hale would have been controlling the gun. I'm guessing you would have shot after Chimera that were chasing after you, but it had to have been removed. It doesn't say why. Oh, it says due to time restraints. Still, I don't know if a rail shooter would have worked well in the context, though. Over in Bristol, let's see. Nope, nothing in Bristol. Bracknell? Yeah, I know they have something for Bracknell. Environmental artist Corey Hagney, and while speaking to Eric, first off, the level was actually close to being cut because of there were meant to have been 3 sections in here, but it was cut down for size. Basically, what Corey Hagney said, these levels were my true babies of Resistance. There was a point where we thought that they might be cut. I insisted that I could finish them and focused on reducing assets and worked closely with gameplay to get some creepy enemy placements set up. This refinement went on until the very end, or at least until the cutoff for lighting. This level almost didn't make it because it was designed specifically around a hardware element which was cut. There was a whole lot of reworking in the vertical cable area to allow the player to both walk on the massive cables and not change their placement. Platforms, platforms, platforms. It all worked out though. Like originally, yeah, this level was meant to focus more on the platforming and horror aspects. Over in London, Corey also had to say, these levels were also difficult to pull off because there were so many views of the overhead Chimeran architecture from so many angles. It was hard to make this stuff feel like the Chimerans just placed it where they needed it, regardless of human architecture, while maintaining the locations that design wanted place and keeping the number of new assets to a minimum. I also ran this stuff in a few other levels, which actually called for it to be interactive. Do they say anything about the Thames? No, not at all. And anything about the tower? There is one thing about the tower that I will talk about. Yeah, no, they don't say anything about the tower either. Overall, some interesting insight to what they have to say to each of the levels, and with it being their very first PS3 game, of course they're going to have some hardware issues, not to mention the fact how, like, because, again, it was a launch title, nobody knew what they were doing. Alright, so that's enough of that. I gotta head to the menu because there are a few more things I have to talk about before we call it there. My hand is numbing up from laying down. Alright, I got worried it wasn't going to take me back. So, actually, I'm curious. Let me go to multiplayer offline. Okay. Game mode options, humans, chimera, mixed. Weapon, oh! Yeah, what are the weapons you can have online? Shotgun, the Lark, carbine, bullseye, man, the auger would have been broken. The dragon, the arc, infinite, well, that's for, like, yeah, that's for, offline multiplayer, though. The map options, show enemies, game options. I really wish I can go online and, like, and actually, like, show off the stuff, but the servers for the online were shut down years ago. So I can no longer do that, so oh well. Alright, I want to go to the credits. I want to go to the cinematics. Oh, yeah, there's the behind the scenes. I'm not going to play it, though, but this cutscene right here, Stranger Than Fission. I'm going to be quiet while you guys watch it, and I'll talk about it.
I think I found the power supply here, but it's just a bunch of glowing rods and cables.
It must be some sort of a reactor. Can you tell if it uses isotope fission for its energy yield?
What, are you kidding me?
I just meant that if it's a nuclear reactor, it can be overheated.
Okay.
You'll figure it out. And then, get out fast, okay?
Okay, so the thing with this cutscene, Stranger Than Fission, this cutscene was the original cutscene for this one right here. The reason it had to have been, well, not so much as removed, but tweaked, was because of the fact that, as you heard right there, as Hale was talking to Parker about it, and when she mentions if it uses, like, isotopic fission, and that's when a record needle scratch literally just kills the soundtrack, and with Hale saying, "What, are you kidding?" Like, you would expect him to know that sort of thing. So, yeah, but as you can see with the reactor chamber, though, this scene is still kind of used. They just cut out the dialogue. Like, just watch and you'll see. So as you saw, they just simply cut out the part of Hale talking to Parker. I think also, at least in that version, the rods were brighter looking. I would assume that the reason being is that this cutscene was at least finished, but they didn't have enough time to... They didn't fully polish it and refine it. So, there's that. Now that that's all over, we're not done yet. One of the next things I'm going to talk about, and something I brought up several times, would be Manchester. The Manchester Cathedral controversy in particular. Just a sec to pull it up. Oh, excuse me. Where is... Here it is, and I will pull this up just in case. Alright, so on the Resistance Wiki, yeah. So, the use of the images of the cathedral would spark considerable controversy with the leaders of the Church of England, which claimed its depiction to be desecration and copyright infringement, that it was inappropriate of Sony to allow players to shoot guns in a city with a gun problem, and within a church of its own, and they would have made several legal threats against Sony. So let's get to where it matters. So on June 9th of 2007, the Church of England threatened legal action against Sony for featuring Manchester Cathedral without permission, because they referred to it as desecration. The officials described it as the use of the building and the violence and gunfight within the building as sick and sacrilegious. And because Sony did not ask for permission, they demanded not only an apology, but either removal of the game from the shop shelves. The cathedral spokesman, David Marshall, told reporters that although they have received supportive emails for its stance, and that they intended to make demands to Sony, like I said, an apology, a substantial donation, and either a complete withdrawal of the game or a modification of the level. I just can only describe how the officials and how the Bishop of Manchester, the Right Reverend Nigel McCulloch, I think that's how you say his name, but as he stated here, it is well known that Manchester has a gun crime problem. For a global manufacturer to recreate one of our great cathedrals with photorealistic quality, for 2006 standards that is, and then encourage people to have gun battles in the building is beyond belief and highly irresponsible. We know the reality of gun crime and the devastating effects it can have on the lives. It is not a trivial matter. And Samak declined to comment at the time, but Sony would issue a statement saying that Sony Computer Entertainment Europe is aware of the concerns of the bishop and the authorities, and that they take the concerns very seriously. Yeah, it states here, we naturally take the concerns very seriously. Resistance Follow Man is a fantasy science fiction game and is not based on reality. We believe we have sought and received all permission necessary for the creation of the game. Sony also stated that it would be contacting the cathedral on Monday of June 11th to understand their concerns in more detail. David Wilson, a Sony spokesman, told The Times, it is game-created footage. It is not video or photography. It is entertainment, like Doctor Who or any other science fiction. It is not based on reality at all. Throughout the whole process, we have sought permission where necessary. At a meeting with the church and the cathedral officials, the reporters noted that 3 people had been shot within the city in the previous 72 hours. Yeah, I'm just reading it here and just... Yeah. Yeah, it's just overall, and Sony's response, and the legal question at it, like, let me just... Oh, even the Prime Minister was questioned. Let me read that part at least. Tony Lloyd, the member of Parliament for Manchester Cathedral, addressed Prime Minister Tony Blair during the questions, saying, when large organizations like Sony find their copyright has been breached, they are very quick to use the law. Would the Prime Minister agree with me that when Sony used images of Manchester Cathedral as part of a game which extols gun violence, this was not only in bad taste, but also very, very insulting to not simply the Church of England, but people across the land who think it's inappropriate that big corporations behave in this way? And Blair would answer, I agree with my honorable friend. I think it's important that any of the companies engaged in promoting these types of goods have some sense of responsibility and also some sensibility to the feelings of others. I think this is an immensely difficult area. The relationship between what happens with these games and its impact on young people. I have no doubt this debate will go on for a significant period of time. But I do agree. I think it is important for that people understand that there is a wider social responsibility as well as an interior responsibility for profits. So overall, let me just sum it up overall in the end. Sony would apologize. They did state an apology to the cathedral, but they didn't make it. They refused to make a donation. So overall, with everything really, is that the controversy ended up being helpful for both sides, to be honest. The controversy is what not only promoted the people in Europe to get the game, just to see what the big deal was all about, but then it also promoted a bit of tourism to the Manchester Cathedral as well. So overall, the controversy had a bit of a good outcome for both sides, but this did at the same time, like, question other certain video game controversies of such, like the no Russian level from Modern Warfare 2, or you know, just various other video game controversies like that. Although I'm pretty sure though that when the officials and the Archbishop saw all that violence in the Chimera and all that, I think their thoughts could be summed up in 5 words.
Get out of my church!
So yeah, that's just what it is. But like I said, overall, it worked out on both ends, to be honest. Not to mention, this wouldn't be the first time. This wouldn't be the first time though that a cathedral did something like this. I know how in Assassin's Creed Unity, if I recall correctly, in Assassin's Creed Unity, the Notre Dame Cathedral refused to have, like, they threatened to sue if they, at least with the interior of the cathedral. They didn't mind the outside of it, but when it came to its interior, that's where they had issue with it. So the cathedral spokespeople could be quite touchy. Well, I don't mean to say it in a way like that. So before we end it, I have to talk about one last thing. And it's going to be a long one, so give me a sec. It's going to be just as a long one, but I can make it quick and then we can end it there. Where is it? Here it is. All right, let me press start and get through this again. So, throughout the game, Nathan Hale, or should I say you really, you will sometimes encounter the corpses of not just various soldiers of the American Army and the British Army, but you will also find the Black Ops as well. Now, what I didn't know until now, really, was that sometimes you will hear a loud beeping when you're near these Black Ops soldiers. I hope this... Okay, yeah. And what that beeping is that it is Morse code. And if you know your Morse code, you can translate and decode what the messages are. The Morse code also plays on the pause screens, and the messages are different each time. So I will go through all the messages from both the pause screen and any of the dead ones that are found. So, in York, on the pause screens, in each of the sections, Red forces encountered. Non-uniform opposition confirmed. Red forces referring to the Chimera. And then in Spires, biological attack imminent. Stand down. Observe any resistance. And the biological attack being a Spire attack. In Grimsby, in each of the areas, Red facility, the conversion center, located. Study of infection path proceeding. Friendly fire interception anticipated. Abort Grayskin capture. Grayskin referring to Nathan Hale. And then lastly, friendly intelligence chatter positive to Grayskin's resistance. In Manchester, Red anti-air potential excessive. Hold off insertion. The red anti-air referring to stalkers. Grayskin encountered with Angel inevitable. Red tunnel network supports grid theory. At Nottingham, friendly excavation investigation pending. Red forces at friendly base in zone L770. Friendly base being Northern Command. And then, Grayskin cut off in friendly base. Red forces present. In Cheshire, and because there is a dead Black Ops soldier you'll find as well, the messages are: Grayskin exposure compromises sensitive data. Angel presence in base confirmed. And as for the dead message, Cloven en route. Purge base of shift data once Grayskin clear. Grayskin identified in zone R16. We also we don't know much about the Cloven either. But we really don't even see them at all. We don't see them at all in the game, but they are mentioned. And they are an unlockable skin you can use. Anyway, done with that. Let's, yeah, so that was, Somerset here. Friendly Escort Limited. Grayskin capture, or should I say Grayskin recapture is go. Sequoia Type 6 Tower confirmed. Grayskin shows no reaction to active Tharp field. Blue units evacuated from friendly base. Remaining evidence of blue presence negligible. And a dead message. Team 9 sabotage Goliath Spire launchers at assembly site and report. Over at Bristol, evacuation of Tier 1 personnel imperative. Red side captured, and it just gets cut off there. Evacuation proceeding to Zone K5 to join Blue Force. Blue Force refers to the American Army. Grayskin believe en route to Pandora. And by Pandora, they are referring to London. In Bracknell, Team 6 lost contact in tunnels. Presumed eliminated. There are two, well, not two, but with the on the voice comms that we heard, X-Ray 3 maintain safe forward observation distance, confirmation of gray skin's regenerative. Like, we heard that. We already heard that. And another one that I think we didn't hear was X-Ray. Aerial surveillance has tracked gray skin into tunnel network. Confirm coordinates and report. X-Ray 3. Route exploration indicates your present course terminates in red structure. Extent of defense is unknown. Recommend proceed with extreme caution. Unobserved support of target is acceptable. Also, another dead body of Morse code. Visit InsommacGames.com for Resistance Fall of Man unlockable skins. I'm not kidding. That is a message. And yeah, if you do register, or at least at the time, back then, if you did register and put in certain codes, you could unlock certain skins. And then in a darker place, Blue Forces en route to London. Secondary units establishing foothold HQ. In London, gray skin located. Floating box escort resume. And then visit Resistance Fall of Man PS3.com and enter node password Frozen Fortress. I don't know what you get if you put in that password, but you'll get something. And the next one, route to Pandora clear of anti-air. The pause screen message for this level we're on here. Goliath units closing on Pandora assault force for a dead body. Visit Resistance Fall of Man PS3.com and enter node password several concerns for another skin of some kind. On the voice comms, we've already heard the voice comms of X-Ray 6 come in. Opportunity window for safe recovery is closing. Grayskin proximity to Pandora presents unacceptable risk. Commit to recovery of Grayskin and any other targets of opportunity. X-Ray 4, come in. X-Ray 4, do you read me? X-Ray 6, investigate whereabouts of 4. Last coordinates 88 by 17. Red anti-air cover is unknown. Proceed with caution. Report status upon recovery. The next one, friendly breach of Pandora. Team 4 escort collection units below Minusculus. And lastly, for the tower, custodians live below Minusculus. Mission window closing. Secure Hope device at any cost. Grayskin intercept failed. Execute secondary objectives. Corvus inbound. And the last message. Tharp spikes traced to Grayskin. Shift teams ranged actions only. And that is pretty much everything I could talk about with not just the game, but that is it. That is everything that I can do and talk about with Resistance. I hope you all enjoyed my playthrough of Resistance Fall of Man. It's been a long time since other than my practice playthrough, it's been a long time since I last touched it. Like, funnily enough, when I was doing my practice playthrough of it, the last time I ever touched it was like way back in 2011, 2012. So yeah, that was pretty much 10 years ago before I jumped from, doing Resistance 2 and Resistance 3. But overall, it was quite a fun experience. And again, I hope Insomniac maybe not so much as bring the series back, but try to acknowledge it more in their resume and their line of work. Because these days, people are looking back on it and they're like, yeah, it wasn't that bad of a game. It was a fun game otherwise. So, as for what my next game will be, well, it's on the PS3, and one of those skill points was called Karma's a Bitch, so yeah. I think that's all the hints you'll need. So, that is it, and I will see you guys in the next one.